In this project, I'm going to be showing you how you can create this beautiful Nigerian Hospital Performance Dashboard using hospital data sets. I'm going to show you step by step on how you can build a portfolio-ready hospital dashboard in Excel, and this is going to be a complete project. By the end of this video, you're going to learn 7 skills. You're going to learn how to clean and prepare hospital data set for further analysis. You're going to learn how to add calculated columns. You're going to learn how to create and summarize data using pivot tables. You're going to learn how to build and link your KPI cards. You're going to learn how to create professional charts. You're also going to learn how to add interactive slicer in your dashboard and also your final dashboard polish. Let's start with how to clean and prepare data. I'm going to show you how you can clean and prepare a hospital data set for further analysis. Now, by the end of this video, you're going to learn how to clean your data properly, how to remove duplicates. You're going to learn how to remove blank rows. You're going to learn how to change date type. You're going to learn how to remove errors. You're going to learn how to standardize your data sets, your hospital data set very well for further analysis. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is to remove, if you look at this place, we have blank rows, blank row. So what do? I will click on this filter. So I'm looking for blank. Good. So I will select just blank and delete the row. We have just one row. In case you have many rows, you select all the rows and delete all of them. Now I have my complete data set back. The next thing I'm going to do is to remove duplicates. If you look at this 12 and 13, they are the same thing. So this is a duplicated value. So what am I going to do? I will remove duplicates. I will highlight everything, go to data menu and click on remove duplicates under data tools. So if I click on remove duplicates, it will select all of this and okay, now one duplicate value found. Good. So we are done removing the duplicate. The next thing I will do is what? To check my dates. So if I click on this, if I click on date, this date column, all of them are still under general, but I want to change it to short date. So I'm changing the date type to short date. Good. So this is now date. Under date of birth, we have date and it is still in general. I'm going to remove it and change to short date. Good. So the next thing I will do is what? I'm going to check errors and remove them. So I'm seeing some errors here. We have, this is supposed to be NHIS, but we have NHI, and this is not S. So if we leave this like this is going to affect the analysis, including the dashboard that we want to create. So this is going to affect it. So what do I do? I will select everything here under insurance. I will select everything under insurance, go to find, replace. So what are you finding? I'm finding NHI $, and I want to replace it with NHIS. I click on replace all. Now we made 3 replacements. Good. So if you look at this, we have succeeded in cleaning and standardizing our data, okay, for further analysis. I'm going to show you how you can create the following calculated columns because we'll be needing the information in our dashboard. You will learn how you can create columns like length of stay, admission month, recovery rate, death rate, referred rate, and number of ongoing treatments. Now, for me to start creating the calculated columns, the first thing I will do is to convert this range to Excel table. So how do I do that? I'll click Ctrl T. If I press Ctrl T, make sure you select my table has headers. Okay. Now you have your Excel table. Next column, like admission month. So I'm going to use calculation to get this month. I'll use text function equal to text. Value is what? So I'm looking for admission month. Under dates, admission dates, I will click on this. Then the format I want to give it is full name. If it is July, I want the JULI. So I will give the format the complete name and okay. The next calculated column is recovered patients. Good. Now for my recovered patients, I'm going to use if. So the reason why I am doing this is it will help us to get the numbers of recovered patients that we're going to use in our KPI. So that is the reason why I want to do this. So I will be using if function for this calculated column. Now I will use if outcome. So I want to use outcome. So if outcome is equal to recovered, bring 1, if not 0. So under outcome, we want to check the number of recovered patients. So what do? Anywhere you see recovered, put 1. But any other thing that is not recovered, add 0. Good. Enter. So now we have this. So this will help us to count the number of recovered patients in this hospital. Now I'm going to be showing you how you can create and summarize this data using pivot table. I'm going to show you how you can create and summarize hospital data using pivot table. And we're going to be answering the following business questions using pivot table. Number 1, how many patients have visited the hospital? So I'm going to walk you through on how to create pivot table so that we can answer the following questions. Highlight my table, pressing Ctrl A, then go to Insert, click on Pivot Table from Range, then the name of my table is Table 2. Now I want this pivot table to be in a new worksheet instead of this existing worksheet. So I will select New Worksheet and OK. Now I have a pivot table. Now let me explain this pivot table field for you. Under pivot table field, we have filters, columns, rows, and values. Now under filter will help you to, once you drag your values to filters, it will help you to filter it in different categories. Now we have columns. If you drag your values to columns, your values will appear in a column form. The next one is what? Rows. If you drag your values to row, it will appear in a row form. Then the next one is values. Once you drag any value here, it will help you to calculate. So this field will help you for calculation. Okay, now let's go back and answer the questions that we have. The number 1 question is what? How many patients have visited the hospital? Now I will go to my pivot and use patient ID and drag it to value. Now we have what? We have 500 patients. Then if I want to create a new pivot table, I will copy this and paste it in another place. This is the easiest way to create a new pivot table. Escape and remove this field. So this is a new pivot table. So the next thing I will do is what? Go back to my question and how many patients have recovered. So I will go to my columns and recovered patients under value. So we have 314 recovered patients. So we have 18. Now we have 18. Number 7 question is diagnosis analysis. And the question is, which disease are most common among patients? Now, I'm going to create a new pivot table. Remove this field. So we have a new pivot table. So we are looking at diagnosis and patient. So for my patient's ID, I will take it to values, and diagnosis, I will take it to row because I want it to appear in a row. Now I want to sort the values. I want to sort it from largest to smallest. So we have respiratory infection is the most common, followed by diabetes. Now let me create a new pivot table. I'll remove this field again. Remove this field. Good. Now let me go to the next question, which is what? Insurance analysis. How are patients paying for healthcare? So we want to analyze our insurance. I will go back to my pivot table, take patient ID to values and insurance status to row. Okay, so from here, the most common is private. Go back to number 9 question, which is admission trend analysis. How have patient admissions changed over time? So we want to analyze how patients admission has changed over time. So I'm going to create a new pivot table here, drag this field out. So from the calculated columns, we had admission month. I'm going to drag it to row and patient ID to values. So now we have our values here. Let's go back to the next question, which is what? Doctor performance. So we want to analyze doctor performance. And the question is, which doctor attended the most patients? Now, this will help the hospital to check workload distribution among doctors. Now, let's go back to the pivot table, create a new pivot table. Good. So we have doctors under row and patient ID under value. So from here, we've seen that Dr. Bello attended to the highest number of patients. Now let's go back again. So for this final one, which ward has the highest number of patients than the rest of them? So we'll be using slicers to make our dashboard interactive. This is how to use pivot table to summarize large amount of data. Now we have created and summarized this hospital data using pivot table. I will be showing you how to start building your dashboard, and you will be learning how to start creating your KPI cards and also how to start linking them to your pivot table. All right, so the next thing you are going to do is you highlight, go to view and remove grid lines because I don't want the grid lines to show. So I want to fill this color. I want to fill this Canva area with another color. So I'll highlight all, click on home. Now under fill color, I want to use the nearest white color. So the next thing I will do is to build my slicer area. I'm going to be using shapes. Go to shape. Now this is the kind of shape I want to use. Now I'll draw my shape. So I will create the first slicer area, then format it. After formatting it, I'm going to duplicate. Good. Now I have this. Let me duplicate. Good. Now the next thing I'm going to do is to build my report title area. In this case, I will still use shapes, but this time around, I'm going to use rounded corner. So after doing this, I will format. So for this outline, I want to use this color. Good. For my KPIs, for me to know the number of cards I'm going to create, I'll go back to the question and check the number of KPIs. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Since we have 6, I'm going to be needing 6 cards. So I'll go back to shapes, pick the rounded corner, and start creating. So I'm going to create one and duplicate it for, I will duplicate it into 6 places. Then for the shape outline, I will use this darker color. Good. Now I'm going to duplicate it. Then the next thing is for me to go back to this question and check the number of the rest of the visuals that we'll be needing. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is slicer. I'll come back here. Duplicate, make a duplicate. This time around, I'm going to increase it. Increase this. Good. So I will make a duplicate and arrange it. And we have a skeleton of the dashboard that we want to create. So this inside this card is where we'll be putting our visuals. I've designed the interface of our dashboard. Now I am done designing the interface of our dashboard. So the next thing I'll start doing is to start creating this. After completing this, I will start building and linking the KPI to the pivot table. So I will click on on insert. Now I'm going to use text box instead of typing direct because I want to retain the formulas. I'm going to be using text box. So I will, for the total patients, make sure you don't type inside if you want to use formula. Then for the total patient, I will go to formula bar equal to, go to the pivot table. Now we have count of patient ID. I will click on it. Now I want to show you something. If you want to use this formula, this is telling you that this pivot table is going to get A3. And where is the A3? This is A3, but we needed A4. So that's what we need. So I'm going to delete this and make it A4. Now I will delete everything here. The total number of patients is 500. Now let me format the value. Increase the font size. For this body, I'm going to fill it outline. So I'm going to remove the outline too. Good. So this is how you can link your KPI to pivot table. Now I'm going to repeat the same process to each of these. For the recovered patient, let me copy this text box to make it easier. I'm going to copy the text box instead of formatting the text box again. I will go back, use formula to get the value of the recovered patient equal to, go to pivot table, sum of recovered patients. Now this is what, A7. I'm going to clean this and replace it with 7. Delete every other thing. Good. Now increase it. Good. So I'm going to repeat the same process. which diseases are most common among patients. Now we are going to use bar chart for that. So I'm going to be showing you how you can create professional charts and also how you can format it to fit into this cards. Now let's do that. So the first question is what? Patient count by diagnosis. Remember, we're still answering our questions and we are in question number 7. So since we are looking at patient count by diagnosis, you go to pivot table. So we have patient count by diagnosis. I'll use inserts, recommended charts. So we are going to use bar chart for this. Click OK. Now I'm going to reduce it, cut it, then go to dashboard and place it here. Good. So the next thing I will do is what? To start formatting this chart. So I want to hide all field buttons and delete the title. Good. I'll just come here and remove grid line, remove legend, then add data label. Then I'll make this bold. So since I've already added data label, let me just remove this one for the sake of space. Good. Now I will right click on this, go to data series. For the gap, let me reduce it a little bit. Good. Then I will go to color. For the color, I'll be using this. Then for the border, I don't need any border, so I'll choose no line. Then for this area, I'm going to use no fill. Good. Also for the border, I'm going to use no fill. So this is going to, good. Now I will increase this, reduce here a little bit. So I have my first chart created and placed inside this card. Now let's go and get patients by insurance, and we are going to be using donut charts for that. Go back to pivot table, insurance, click on it, click on recommended charts, then under pie chart I will choose donut and OK. Now I'm going to cut this, go back to dashboard and place it. Again, I will hide all fill buttons. Since I already have title for this, I'm going to delete this. Now for the data label, I will add data label. Then let me make it bold. Good. So I will right click, go to format series. For the donut size, I want to reduce it, the inside. Good. Then for the colors, I want to change these colors. For this, I'm going to use this, and for this one, I will use my navy blue. Make sure you select only this, then good. Now for my numbers, I will change this to white, then border, change it, no fill, good. Then for our legend, I'm going to increase it. Good. Now the next one is what? Admission by month. So we go to pivot table. We have admission by month. I click on it. Remember, you use line chart to represent trends over time. So I'm going to use line charts. Select any of these charts, any of these designs, then okay. Now I will reduce it again, cut it, go to my dashboard and paste it. For this field button, I'm going to hide it. I have my title, so I'm going to delete legend and remove grid lines. Good. So I will right click on this, go to data series. For the color, I'll use orange. I will use this. Now let me go back and remove the fill color and border, the border line. Good. So we have this. The next question is what? Doctor's performance. I'm going to pivot table, click on this. So we'll be using our column chart. Okay. Then minimize it and cut. Go to your dashboard and for the slicer, we're going to go back to the question, and which ward has the highest number of patients. So I'll go back to my dashboard. I'm going to be showing you how you can add interactive slicers to your dashboard, and also how you can connect your slicers to dashboard so that it can be interactive. Now we want to create slicer for number 11 question, which is which ward has the highest number of patients. So with the help of slicer, we can answer the question. So what I will do is, if I click on insert, first of all, make sure you select any visual. So you click on insert, click on slicer, then I have word. Okay. So this is my slicer. I'll pick this slicer and place it here. But if you look at this slicer, if I click on this, it will only affect one visual, which is this, the one I clicked on before inserting the slicer. So what do? We connect this slicer to all of these. So I will right click on this, go to report connections. Now I'm going to connect it to all the pivot tables that I created. I will make sure that I connect everything. After connecting it, I will click OK. So if I click OK now, I have, so everything is now changing. As you can see, the number of patients that recovered from surgical ward is 64 out of 500. Out of how many patients? Recovered patients, 316. So we have emergency. Under emergency ward, we have 40 recovered patients. Then out of 63 total number of patients. Good. So the hospital made 15,042,228 naira from emergency ward. Now the next slicer that I will be adding, gender. Now we have a complete dashboard that we just created. I'll just start arranging all of them. If there's anything I didn't do well, this is the time I'm going to place all of them very well. So now this is the final look of our dashboard.